To Grand Cruise Astrology and the second part of my lunar series here leading up to the eclipse and the aftermath of the eclipses coming in late April and early May. I'm going to do at least 4 videos, maybe 5, just kind of depending on what I see and how I feel and what's relevant. So let's start with this. This is we've done the video on March 21st for the new moon, and now we're looking at the full moon on April 5th. So, full moons, new moons are new beginnings. We have the moon. The moon travels the entire zodiac, takes about 29 and a half days. It's a moon cycle. It's a lunar cycle, and so, when we started on March 21st. We're starting with that new moon there, and I talked about that in the last video. And here we are at April 5th, and the moon is coming to an opposition with the sun. And at this point of the lunar cycle, this is we see a full moon in the sky, and it's a full moon, but it represents an astrology. It represents of that what was born at the new moon coming into full expression and being seen, right? And from here forward, past the new moon, we get into a more dissemination phase of that energy until finally, at the end of the moon, toward the last phases of the moon, it is completely dispersed so that we have a clean slate for the next moon. Okay, so it's very day to day when we're talking about the moon. It's very changeable. This isn't long-term stuff here, but it has day-to-day consequence. And the reason I'm focusing on the moons for these readings is because they're all leading up to an eclipse, which eclipses have more staying power than just the new and the full moons. They have a little more resonance that carries through for longer periods at a time. Can go for at least 6 months to a year. And these eclipses too, as I'll talk about when we get to the second eclipse, these eclipses have they kind of they they take place in similar signs for more than one eclipse. So, for example, the second eclipse that we have, full moon eclipse in Scorpio, it will harken back to eclipses that we had previously in Taurus, the sign opposite. So, there's themes that even though the moon cycle is day to day and changes every month, there are themes that we keep coming back to in the lunar cycles. So, I'm just, taking some snapshots of some new moons and full moons here to kind of give a glimpse of some of the patterns that we may be dealing with. So here we are. This is an interesting full moon we have here on April 5th. It kind of has almost a bucket pattern. It's not quite an actual bucket. These planets, the Mars and Pluto, are a little too far off, but it is interesting that Mars and Pluto here again are kind of at the end caps here, and then we have the moon in conversation with a lot of this energy here, particularly the sun and Jupiter here. So there's coming to an expression, coming to fruition with the full moon. There's something is being seen, something is coming into conscious awareness. That which was unconscious at the new moon is now being seen and being recognized. So with the last new moon, if you remember, it was at 0 degrees Aries, and it's the start of the zodiac. Is 0 degrees Aries. It's where we begin. It represents the spring equinox, right? And so, 0 degrees Aries is about as one-pointed energy as you get. It's about just think of an infant, right? The only considerations for an infant is, oh my God, I am absolutely entirely dependent, and I need. It's all about, number one, it's all about growing. I need to grow into this body and and I need what I need, right? It's like a seed, okay? That's just getting ready to. It hasn't even gotten ready to sprout. It's just being given the environment so that it can sprout, right? So it has that first little shoot. That's it. Okay, and so it's a very one-pointed energy. It's a very solo energy. It's very much one, right? And Aries as an energy is very one point energy. It's very take charge. It has a lot to do with leadership. It's very solo. It's very independent and all those things. Now, when you have the moon coming to a full moon across from that, we're having some consideration for other. Okay, so you know, given that the new moon is at 0 degrees Aries, very one pointed. There are a lot of projects were probably started. There was probably a lot of um, imaginings or actions, and a lot of in yeah, just a lot of passion and a lot of drive and inspiration, a lot of um, you know just a lot of force behind this will to get things going and to do something new and to express our individual nature in a new way, um, and to really really come out with that, right? Well, with this full moon in Libra here going across from it, it's this is the point of the moon cycle where we say, oh right, there are others, there's more to consider. There's more to consider than just what I want. There's what I want. How does it affect other people, right? And how is that going to play with other people? And is this something that is sustainable and one-to-one dynamic, or is it so solo that it isolates, right? Well, the good thing about this new moon is that or this full moon is that the sun is with Jupiter. Okay, I mean, it would be nice if Jupiter was in nice aspect to both of them, right? That would be helpful. But even Jupiter in an opposition is not such a bad thing. The way I see this full moon playing out is there is going to be an awareness of other. There is going to be something across from us in our solar pursuits, in our singular solar pursuits in the world. There's going to be something across from us that reflects back. Okay, remember that it's not all about number one, that there is something else to consider here. There are interrelationships in life, and there is more than just a single pointed focus. There are more points of view. There are more points of emphasis than just us at the center of our own universe, right? So that's there. But with Jupiter with the Sun, it's really giving more buoyancy, more inspiration, more passion to this Aries energy, to the solar energy, to really not give that up, not give up your vision, not give up your will, not give up that which you feel is on purpose and on point and is what you need to be and express in the world. To not give that up. That's what I'm seeing with this full moon here. Be considerate. I mean, anytime you're going to have a full moon, an opposition of planets, sun and moon, it does ask for integration. So this isn't about just ignore this full moon here and say screw it, screw other people. I just want to go on with my own thing. That's not what we're saying here. We're just saying what I'm saying here with this is don't be deterred, because with Jupiter with you with your solar pursuits, you're going to find that emotional integration in the actions you take, because the moon is our emotional body, right? It's our unconscious, it's our desire to feel safe and secure. with it being in Libra, there's this real pull to want to connect with other people and have people be on board with what you're doing. In some cases, they will be. In some cases, they won't. With Jupiter here with the Sun, I think you're going to be able to use your leadership skills, your action-oriented energy, your drive and your passion to really bridge that gap that the Sun and Moon is creating here, right? To bridge that gap, to integrate this, to be able to really sell your position in such a way that says, look, I know that I have a lot of drive and passion, and I know that this may not be, what you necessarily see as the way forward, but I got this. Trust me on it, right? This is kind of the energy that we're all dealing with, and we're all dealing with this energy in relation to one another, right? Of course, it's going to affect different areas of the chart depending on, where the Sun and where Jupiter is and where the Moon is, right? It's all going to be affecting us a little bit differently in a little bit different way, but this is the energy we're dealing with. It would just suggest that to acknowledge other, right, and to integrate this energy with Jupiterian with the Jupiterian conjunction there, which is all about optimism, all about hope, all about expansion. I mean, really, I think your enthusiasm at this time can really bridge that gap between self and other, right? I think if people see that you have the energy, you have the drive, you have the passion, then this is going to help bring people on board, right? This is going to help you with any opposition you may face. It's trusting and lady luck, really. That's what Jupiter kind of represents. Just that sort of that extra 1% of good luck, good fortune. It's a Sagittarian energy, right? It's just it's happy-go-lucky and trusting in what you're doing and trusting in your purpose and your direction, right? So that's really I like this full moon. I mean, there is one thing to note here. It is very important. It is going to tie into what's coming here in the future with the eclipses and the moons to follow, and that is the full moon quincunx to Uranus there, from Libra to Taurus. The full moon in Libra to Uranus and Taurus. Now, both of these signs are ruled by Venus, and we have Venus, not far from where Uranus is. So this quincunx isn't the worst itch that you can't scratch, but it is a quincunx here. And so there's something here that is becoming a larger theme as we go forward in time about individual liberation and sort of this, when I think about Uranus and Taurus, because Taurus is fixed Earth, has a lot to do with possessions and material attachments, but also values and safety and material needs and things like that. When you have Uranus here, it's really needing to attend to that on a very personal level, very individual level, and finding that kind of security and sort of that kind of material attainment, material wealth or material gain through individual means, through your own autonomy, through your own individuality, and not being tied down by it. You want to be able to create for yourself, a life that feeds you, and a life that is a livelihood and it is fitting. But we don't want to be trapped by it, right? We don't want to be confined by those needs, right? So Uranus comes through and liberates us from that and gets us creative about how we can create for ourselves in new and innovative ways. A livelihood and that is secure, but also on our own terms, right? Now, with this quincunx, the moon in Libra here, it just suggests that there could be some partnerships. There can, at this time with this full moon, there may be things that are coming up within interpersonal partnerships that are not really perhaps in line, or you know, maybe like an itch you can't scratch, or something there that's maybe not quite fitting. Maybe something is a little bit too confining, or a little bit too has you a little bit too hemmed in to really do and create and have the kind of autonomy you want when it comes to you know, resources, right? And so, you know, it's not an opposition. So this isn't the necessity for integration as much as it is sort of an itch. And it really, it's going to be speaking to something that's going to be around in different ways here for us in relation to Uranus and quincunxes here going forward. So there's something about the individual nature here that is going to need attention. And I'm just going to say with this going forward, because I know kind of where we're going with these moons. I think with this full moon, it's just something to be aware of and understand that this is going to be something that's going to come back around again, and eventually it will be dealt with, and it will come to it will come to a conclusion of some kind. But just understand that it's not really going away either, and it is something there to take notice of. So with this full moon, what's most important is really staying true to your path, staying true to your direction in a worldly sense, while at the same time recognizing that this full moon is going to require that we have a sun-moon integration, and that we account for other. Okay, we account for other people. We account for partnerships. We account for collaboration. Okay, to some degree, while at the same time staying true to ourselves. So I'll kind of leave it there. Interesting full moon we have coming up. This set of new moon, you know, and then we have the full moon. It really does speak to really us coming into our first, taking that dream, taking that vision, taking those actions, and really here we're starting to see the first places where we're coming up against having to account for other things beyond our own vision and our own desire and our own dreams, right? So, yeah, I'll leave it at that. The next new moon is going to be an eclipse, and that's when things start to get power. We get a power surge. Things get really interesting. So stay tuned for that video, and yeah, I'll see you then.